hamstrings.
Yeah, but what do we do? So you might have to take your springs down.
Take springs down.
Or remember, you can pop your foot bar down, because again, that hip flexion might be too much for them. Therefore, if you put it down, you're going to allow the legs to be lower, which is a better butt squeeze, isn't it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, the intention for your footwork is to get the butt to fire to meet the quadriceps, because our quads are dominant. Our quads are dominant because we sit a lot, and in sitting, the back hip sling is becoming over dominant, okay? But also when we go to stand, we lean forward. So the center of gravity shifts into the anterior chain to stand, and we stand maybe 10 to 50 times a day, sometimes 100 times a day, do you know what I mean? Depending on what sort of job you do, or depending on what you do during the day. So if we were to go like this and stand, your butt would work harder and we'd have an even balance, but we don't do that, do we? So it is, though, if I'm lying on my back, it is knee extension, hip extension. It's 50-50. Therefore, logically, it's 50-50. But we don't use 50-50. So the goal in Reformer is to get people's butt working just as hard as their glutes. And it takes time. Some people it takes 10 sessions. Some people it takes 6 months. Some people it takes a year. But I notice every client getting better and better and better and better, because I always ask, give me the percentage, and some are like, oh, it's 90-10, some are like, it's 100% quads, and then 6 months later they're like, yeah, it's 50-50. So I see the benefit, but we have to have that intention. Otherwise, when you come and you're doing all this footwork, you're just burning their quads, and their quads are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and then they feel out of balance. Yeah, they're feeling out of balance. They're not enjoying the classes after 3 months, because 100%. Why? Because of the sling. If you tighten the quadriceps up into the hip flexors, it tightens your back. They're connected. If you strengthen the glutes, your abs start to fire better. If you strengthen your abs, your glutes start to fire better. They're connected. They're best friends. Hips and back, best friends. Glutes and abs, best friends. That's those two slings that have to be in balance. Great. Cool. Well done. So, if you were to choose some footwork, what would you want to do? Pick something that suits you.
Second position.
Second position, yeah,
So
good.
rotate,
Outward rotation. Great. And what's the focus of second position?
Engaging my glutes.
Glute med and glute max.
And glute max.
Great, so then jump down and do it. You can sit it out at any point, guys. You've got a lot of work to do today, so don't stress if you want to sit and watch at any stage. You don't have to do it. Good, we are on heavy springs as well, guys, but that's fine. Good, turn the toes out. Good, now heels to the very edge, very, very edge, very edge, very edge. That's it, hold there. Now, guys, remember, there's outward rotation. Second position, yeah, ballet term, I think. Second position, so you're turning the femur out. So what I get, yeah, you can tell the dancers, can't you? You're going to roll the knees back in, roll them in, both in, both in, both in, and then you're going to roll them back out, wrapping the hips. So you've got to think of the femurs wrapping, not just collapsing out. Do that a couple of times until you fire into the glute med. Is it there?
Yeah, now it's...
Got it?
Yeah.
Glute med. Now, once the glute med's on, so I always get my clients to do that a couple of times, twist in, twist out until they're really firing in the butt, yeah, in the side of the butt. And now again, if they collapse in their back, they won't use their butt effectively, because we need the reciprocation through the abs to engage the glutes properly. So you've got to lengthen the pubic bone, tighten the core muscles, close the ribs, and then once the abs can take the opposing force, the glutes then can work effectively to push the carriage out. Go, push and pull, wrap the femurs into the glute med. Got it? Everyone feeling their glute med, glute max? Good. Now collapse your back and see what happens. Collapse your back into the floor and try and press.
Oh, like your back's pressing?
Yeah, press into the floor. Horrible, isn't it? Yeah, horrible. So the core, even though you're lying down, it hurts your knees. While you're lying down, it's very important that you cue neutral and activation. The core is so important. In every exercise, obviously, but you can feel why it's important. Instructors neglect to cue the core when they're lying down because you're lying down.
Yeah.
You think that the floor's supporting you. It's not. The floor's not supporting you. You've got to have that internal distribution of strength.
And my tailbone should be slightly lifted off of there, slightly lifted off, right?
No.
No. Okay,
I wouldn't
fine,
know.
that's really hard.
No, I would anchor the tailbone and work more on pulling up through in the thighs and wide and transversus, and then pull, yeah? And then press. See, that's it. Yeah, perfect. That's great. Really good. Remember, you are on a really heavy spring here, guys, so don't do too many reps.
which you don't really want.
You don't want to think ideally.
So I want it is slightly off. I mean, if I keep my tailbone pressed on the carriage
Yeah.
and then do that,
Yeah, but
I feel like my back is then
yeah,
up.
because you've got to push your tailbone and engage your abs. It's not one or the other. See what I mean? So you've got to anchor the tailbone, and then while the tailbone's anchored, you've got to widen transversus, close ribs, zip up through pelvic floor. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
And therefore, the reason why you need that tailbone anchored is because multifidus has to do some work.
Okay.
You can't relax multifidus because multifidus is the main muscle that's going to take the distribution of the load through the core, through the posture. Yeah, that's great.
I shouldn't have put this one, it's quite hard.
No, it's because you're on every spring, remember?
Okay, oh yeah.
Yeah, jump up. Great. That's good. That's a great bit of footwork. So lock that down. That's going to bank for you, yeah?
Okay, let me write
We're
it down.
banking these things.
I like that.
What are you teaching?
Unilateral.
Great. What are you teaching?
What are you doing?
I was thinking that as well.
It's fine.
Sitting.
We can do different unilateral exercises.
We can call this a supine exercise
Just
position.
call it footwork, leg work.
Okay, but is it the starting position is supine?
Yeah, supine.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, this is all in supine. Yeah. Just pick something that works for you.
Yeah.
Can you do like core from here?
Do what?
Core, or is it all footwork and glute work?
So in supine, what we've done is we've done a bridge or a hip roll. If that doesn't, if you don't feel comfortable doing it or teaching it, then yeah, don't teach it. But I'm trying to get you to connect to certain things as we go.
I do like teaching the glutes, but I'm like, I think everything is like pretty much taken. What are you doing?
Oh no! It doesn't have to be. You can do the same thing. Of course you can. Yeah. You can do the same thing, absolutely. What's important is that when you start teaching, you teach exercises that you know and love. If you don't love doing it, it's really hard to teach because it's hard to demonstrate. You're like, oh, I hate doing it. Your energy's different. So when you first start, your first class is only going to be all the shit you love. That's it, because then your clients will feel that love for those movements come through. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get you to find things that you're connecting with.
I'll do the same as other.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, second position. Nice. Great. Good. Glute med fire. Make sure cueing the core.
Yeah.
What do you want to do, Shan? Or no footwork, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I also like that second one.
Fine.
I don't know if we're all going to be doing the same.
That's fine. It's my favourite as well. So if that's what works for you, teach what you love. That's yours then, that's great. Unilateral, great, cool, that's the footwork stuff. I really like doing calf stuff as well.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
You always chuck that sort of stuff in as well. So how many springs are you going to do it on, Ella?
Not that. Probably 2.5.
Do at least 3.
At least 3. Okay, fine.
At least
so
3, minimum 3 for most people because these are big strong muscles and you're using both legs.
Yeah.
How many are you guys going to do on unilateral?
I was going to say 3, but is that too much?
Too much, yeah. Because that means if you double that with 2 legs, you'd be on 6 springs. So I would do 2. Start with 2 or 2.5. Remember, there's always a range. So if you're on 3, people could do 3, 3.25, 3.5. If you're on 2, they could do 2, 2.25, 2.5. And I wouldn't push people past 2.5. Therefore, I'd say start at 2, so that you've got a half spring range. Does that make sense? Yeah, you don't want to always be at the top end and then pull people back. You want to be at the low end and push people up. So I would say 2. Obviously, if you wanted to, you guys can do heavier springs, but for your clients, okay? Start at 2 for single leg. Because remember, 2 at single leg is 4 red springs. Now we've only got 3 3/4 here. So we're already doing, it's not too much for single because it's not exactly half, do you know what I mean? Because you have to have a minimum amount of effort. It's an exponential load, so you don't have to, the maths isn't quite exact, but just think about it as if 2 red springs for 1 leg would mean roughly 4 red springs for 2 legs, okay? Cool. All right. If someone's not feeling their butt, what are you going to do? You can lower the bar or lower the springs, okay? Because it gives them better activation. Remember, you're pinching your sit bones together. Sit bones together recruits deep glute fibers. So if you're just squeezing your superficial fibers, you're, think of it like a pizza slice. Oh, I haven't got my thing on. Oh, that's why, because I was taking the socks in half. Just halfway through everything at the moment. Sure, I'll get it together. Okay. All right. So the pizza slice is the straight line of the slice, and then you've got your crust, yeah? So you can just bunch the crust, or you can bunch into the sit bone. Stand up and feel this. Your crust, your slice attaches to your ischials, your sit bones. So feel that you can just squeeze your butt, and when you squeeze your butt, that's actually your superficial fibers. Now, squeeze your butt and pinch your sit bones. Squeeze your butt and pinch your sit bones together. Can you feel that? Mm-hmm. Yeah? 2 different movements. You can do them both together, but they are different. You can also pinch your sit bones without squeezing your butt. Can we feel that?
And then so when you really use the depth of that activation, you can feel your TVA.
Yes.
Right? Right,
Because
your front of your hip bones move to the front of your ribs.
exactly. Bang on. Because the
right,
sling,
yeah.
because the connection of the core fibers of the glutes. So these fibers are here, the crust. Everyone knows what I mean by the pizza slice?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. So there's like obviously that's your slice, and that connection, and then this is the crust. So the reason I call it that is because we don't want to think of the glute as a round shape. Think of it as got a point. And the curvy bit joins together to propel the hip backwards. But the point, the ischial attachments, are the bits that then connect to the fascia of the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor then connects to the fascia of the transversus. So when you pinch the sit bones together without the crust, you're actually activating the core. It's this little oof, 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 which is what you need, Shan.
Yeah.
Sit bone, yeah. Helps, right? Yeah.
Which in yoga we did not use for years. And
That's
years.
right.
We never used it.
That's right.
We never used it.
Well, I mean,
And
because
now it's just like, yeah.
we get taught about the abdominal locks, right? The bandhas in yoga.
Yeah,
But
that's
it hasn't been translated until recently that means pinch your sit bones and lift your belly. You know,
Yeah.
pinch and lift, pinch and lift, pinch and lift, you know. So obviously, yeah, now it's starting to come
Well,
together,
they
isn't
talk
it?
more about the sling, basically between your arse and your, like in the middle of your body, don't they? About the lock, which is kind of your pelvic floor, but it doesn't talk about the sit bones and the glutes.
No.
It does. It's
It's
more
less anatomical,
internal,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's- Isn't it? Like it's like that picture that looks really gross whenever you learn about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What is that? Like how are you supposed to lock that?
Yeah.
Like it's like your insides.
Yes.
And they just talk a lot about like stitching your insides together. and
Stitching,
you're like,
yeah.
"What?" That's really bizarre. Like and everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes so
Well,
much
there's a
sense.
cue we
Like,
use. There's a cue we use in Pilates. Yeah. But then if you squeeze the butt, so when we're talking about the butt squeezes, we're actually, there's 2 different butt squeezes. There's glute max, the superficial fibers, which is all about hip extension, yeah, propelling the hips forward. And then there's the sit bone squeeze, sit bones, right? So when you're cueing, there's obviously cueing sit bone squeezes or cueing butt squeezes. Just be aware that we're talking about 2 different things, or it can all happen together. You can squeeze your butt and your sit bones and work everything. You know what I mean?
Usually, I usually cue both.
Yes,
So
nice.
I first say squeeze the glutes together, and then I'm like, and now from there squeeze
The sit bones. Yeah, nice. That's great.
Yeah, and I tend to watch people's ribs and their hips in bridges. Really.
Nice.
Because how can you tell if someone is really engaged, like from deep?
Yes.
Like you want them to.
Yeah,
Like how can maybe that person doesn't even know what it means.
that's right.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
It just
Yeah, you're right. But there's times when we need to use the core. So come down to half a spring, guys. Just half a spring on the machine. So we're going to do our long stretch where you're pushing the carriage out. And don't worry about the names. It doesn't matter. It's just knowing the movements. You don't have to worry about what we call them.
Yeah, I
You can
was
call them
gonna
anything.
say,
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could call this just carriage press. It doesn't matter. We don't use names because all different modalities have different names. And if you understand the why, then we're not what's the word? We're not adhering to, or this is a long stretch. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do is in this shape here, when you push your knees back, and you can't, if you squeeze your full butt, you actually prop your hips forward if you squeeze the butt itself. So actually, this is only a sit bone squeeze. So find yourself in a sit bone squeeze and an ab lift, sit bone squeeze, and now open out into your press, your core work, and lift. Keep the sit bone. Yes, Shan, look at that. Perfect. You've nailed it.
I'm not sure how I'm engaging my butt.
Great. Yes. There you go. You've nailed it. That's it. You've got it. This is great. Yeah, that's so flat and perfect. Well done. Good, guys. You've got it. So the sit bone squeeze. Now, try and do it with a butt squeeze. It's very difficult. You can't, yeah, because you're actually propelling your hips forward rather than aligning with the sit bone squeeze. That's why it's important to know the difference. Can you feel the difference? Yeah? Cool. Everyone happy? Any questions? Anyone confused? I want to make sure we understand what we're doing. Yeah? Happy with this, Joe?
Yeah.
Great. The other thing was we teach in Pilates is jump up into standing. Talking about pelvic floor, only because you said the word stitching. And we talk about stitching, you've got to think of your pubic bone, tailbone. You've got to think of your hip bone, and then you've got your sit bones, and you're going to bring them all together. So you're going to bring your pubic bone and your tailbone towards each other. You're going to bring your hip bone and your hip bone towards each other, and then you're going to lift your sit bones up into it as well. Feel all that?
That's more like Mula Bandha.
That's Bandha. That's the same sort of thing.
That's
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
literally Mula Bandha lock.
But the
Yeah.
only reason behind the lock is so that you can
Not breathe.
Yeah.
breathe,
Like,
and so that your body is stable, so that you can concentrate on your it's like a stability.
Yeah.
So the
100%.
point of it is good. But
Yes,
it's really
yes.
hard to do when
Yeah.
you're doing-
And also, it's very hard. Like here, it's like pinch your sit bones, lift your hip bones, but it's hard to go. Okay, hold. Now bring your hips together. Bring your pubic bone and tailbone together.
so
Lift.
hard.
So it's like it's almost overcueing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
so in this particular thing, I don't think I was ever good at this. You know, when you were like coming
Mm.
back, you need to extend your like the
Yes.
of your hips. What's your intention here to really work your TVA or like
Good question.
why are we doing this?
Good question. So why? And this is what we're here to do. Here we're just constantly understanding the why of everything. Yeah. So the reason you're doing this is because your kinetic chain is every type 1 fiber that stabilizes your bone structure, your posture, right? So every fiber in my body is now distributing the load of my body as I press out, okay? So as I lengthen, I'm lengthening my head. If I collapse, I feel nothing. But if I press out in a straight line, my whole core is challenged because I'm distributing the load through the kinetic chain. So it's every fiber, type 1 fiber, not type 3, not type 2. It's every type 1 fiber from the back of my neck, the top of my skull, the top of my axis, all the way down, that multifidus, all the way through that baked bean tin of the center, all the way down to those sit bones, down through those inner thighs to the knee. So it's the kinetic chain. The chain is challenged a lot in Reformer. So every time we do arms pulling straps, you're challenging your stability. So we're working the core, as in the whole core. Remember that actually the muscles around here is actually only the center. It's not the core. The core is every type 1 fiber from head to toe. So here I'm working my obviously heavier spring. I'm challenging my center because I'm wobbly. I've got to stabilize through length, tightness and length. We can do it in standing. This is the full kinetic chain is being worked from toe to head, but only if I'm tall. So the length has to also include that lift. So from here down to there and all the way up, the full spine, multifidus especially, the shoulder girdle, the pelvic girdle, everything is challenged for stability. Type 1 fiber. Stability is about type 1 fiber. Why? Why is stability type 1 fibers? Because type 1 fibers are isometric muscles. They grip and hold, yeah? They hold for long periods. So their job is to stabilize the body. If you challenge type 3 fibers, you need to challenge with pace and load. Pace and load, pace and load, pace and load. Whereas they're fast twitch fibers. Whereas your core muscles, they want to be grip and hold and then put under challenge. They want to be put under balance or put under tension. Yeah? It's the type of the fiber. Type 1 fibers, core muscles, are slow twitch, isometric grip and hold for long period muscles. And they hold the shape, the length, the strength of the posture. So if you challenge the shape, the length, the strength of the posture, like a bridge, any form of bridge, any form of side lying, anything where gravity is used to challenge that core, it's because the muscles that are gripping and holding that stop you from collapsing. So that's why they quiver and shake. It's those muscles that are gripping and holding on for dear life, okay? So stability challenges the core because the core muscles are type 1, slow twitch, grip and hold, isometric fibers. Does that answer everything? And this is the exercise where the core needs to be active because we're challenging the core. So you need to be longer through your crown, longer through your heart, longer through your crown, longer through your heart. And as you come forward, heart forward, you've got to find length in spine. That's it, longer, taller, longer. That's it. Sit bones pinched, abs lifting. You've got it. Then press it away. Press, press, press. Keep the hips straight. Pinch those sit bones more. Sit bones, sit bones, sit bones. You've got it. And then all the way forward. Grow tall, grow tall, grow tall. The longer you make your spine, the stronger the core, the stronger the challenge. What spring are you on? Yep, cool. And then you can do it on a quarter spring and feel how much you can challenge that core. Try it on a quarter because that looked really good. You won't, you'll be fine. Good. Good, now slowly legs back. Now pinch those sit bones, lift those hip bones, lengthen, 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 lengthen. There you go, now feel that quiver. Now lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. There you go, now forward, 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 forward.